Why you must take action now and get on the fucking grind and self improvement as a guy. So I have, thought about this quite a bit, and times are getting a little bit harder for people nowadays. We've got the cost of living crisis going on. We've got all these global conflicts starting to take off. We're living in a time of turbulence. At any moment, we could be plunged in a global war or a Great Depression, and we don't know if tomorrow is gonna be different. And yeah, a lot of people just feel like so secure, with the Uber Eats and the video games and all that shit. You don't know how long that's gonna last. You know what I mean? That's part of the reason why I got on the self improvement journey, was because, I didn't want to be unprepared when the troubling times came. Now, I'm not like an apocalypse prepper or nothing like that. I don't have a bunch of fucking canned food saved up or anything like that. I want to. I'm going to work to get to that point, of course. Everyone wants a bunker. You can never have enough stuff prepared. But I'm improving myself so I can get to that point. So I can, or so that when the times are tough, that I can also adapt to the hard times. So currently our leader, old decrepit king, sits on the throne. Our rivals all have their finger on the trigger. The gears of war are starting to turn. You have seen this exact situation in Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. A prosperous empire enters into a long peace, and then it goes into a slow decline. Little problems start culminating. The empire kind of goes into like a state of decay. You see the same thing happen throughout history so many times. Rome, many times that happened with the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians. There will be like the golden age, and then there will be like the long peace. There will be like, the hard times make strong men analogy, right? So I think that we are currently in a decline. Everything that I've been seeing, everything that everyone's been talking about, we're not the big dogs on the block anymore. The United States isn't the number one anymore. Let's just be real. China is just as strong, if not stronger, than us. But all this Western cope, wants to act like nothing's wrong or whatever. Let's just be real. Like, they have more hardworking people than we do. They have more people in general. Their country is just advancing more and more. No matter how much people want to say, I've been seeing this for since I was a kid. Oh, China's gonna gonna crash, whatever. China's gonna fall. It's gonna go into a civil. Here we are, 20 years later. None of that has happened to them. They're still chugging along just fine. And that's probably what's going to keep happening. They're going to keep going up and up and up, right? And so, same with Russia. Russia, all this Ukraine stuff, all this Western media is so bullshit. It's all propaganda. They're saying, oh, Russia's going to collapse any day now. I'm waiting, bro. Anytime you go on any of these like news outlets, you'll see, oh, Russia's getting destroyed. Russia getting a run. Watch these Ukrainian drones. Bro, the Russians are winning. They're winning, bro. Like, let's just be real. Europe is in a state of decline too. Their economy isn't doing particularly well. The stock market, I don't want to hear nothing about someone saying something about stocks or anything like the stock market's at an all-time high. What you see every day in the real world, it doesn't matter about the stock market. Oh, unemployment's low. People are struggling. Take off the bullshit lens of all these statistics and stuff and just look at it straight and take it as it is. Quality of life is declining. Quality of products is declining. People are getting weaker. People are losing. People aren't buying things. People aren't investing. You know, it's all made up bullshit. You know, some people are winning, of course, you know, but most people right now are on the back foot. I'm just going to be real. Most normal people that I know that are just regular, like, non-self-improvement people that have families, work jobs, you know, work for some company. They don't have no savings. They're in debt. They just kind of living life on, like, almost as, like, a second-class citizen at this point. You know, I felt it too. Like, you know, I go to the store, I barely buy some shit. Before I know it, I spent $100. $100 used to be worth something. Now it feels like $100 is more like, I don't know, dude. It's just so easy to spend 100 now. It's crazy. Spending 100 like a few years ago actually felt like you were spending something, you know? So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, in all these, like, Lord of the Rings and, like, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, what happens? There's, like, the king that once was, like a great king or whatever. When he dies, all hell fucking breaks loose. I think that what we're seeing with our current, I'm not going to say his name, I'm not going to get into that, but we currently have an old king on our throne. We have a decrepit old king on the throne. Our country has a lot of issues. There's a lot of just stuff being swept under the rug, a lot of cope going on. Like, let's be real, we're kind of in a state of crisis at the moment. So the hard times need to make strong men. So that's why, like, just become a strong man now. Don't wait for the hard times to make you strong. Just take my word for it. Just become strong before this shit hits the fan. And if it doesn't, great. Say we have another 10 years of prosperity, another 20 years. Alright, that's great, but that doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. Like I said, tomorrow, there could be a World War III. You don't know. You don't fucking know. Anyways, so you would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? So you must become strong. Imagine if you're still sitting around playing video games, being lazy, when all of a sudden the comfortable world around you starts to go into a free fall. Your family and friends are depending on you to become strong and carry the burden. And your older family members, they're fucking getting old, dude. Your parents, they ain't getting any younger. Your grandparents, if they're still around, your parents, if you're my age, they're middle-aged, they're entering their 50s, whatever, 60s, and they're not in their prime anymore. They're getting ready to retire, and they're looking to pass the torch to you, bro. Like, stop sitting on your ass. Like, seriously, because you're never going to be able to take care of a family if you can't take care of your current family members. Like, you're just going to be struggling and stressing yourself out so badly. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to grow up and just start doing your own shit, you know? Like, stop depending on your parents. And obviously, one of my goals is to, like, retire my parents. I'm not there yet, but that's one of my goals, of course. You know, I have them in mind. I feel bad for them. You know, they're, like, 50. But yeah, I mean, they're not what they once were. They can't just work another 20 years, another 30 years, and just You know, some people are built different. Some people work till their 60s and 70s. I get that, but in general, most people are looking to wind down around that time. They're not in their golden age anymore. They're old and they're looking to rest. So, you gotta be the next one. You're the next one in line to lead the family. You're the next one to set an example for, and just in general, like, you want kids, you want all this shit, you want kids, you want a family. Well, you're gonna have to be a fucking strong dude. Get up, stop watching fucking TV. Stop bullshitting yourself. Stop being a fucking loser. We are currently living in an age of decadence where you can get by doing nothing. It's not going to last forever. This is nothing but an illusion created by the artificial comfort of the modern world. So, yeah, the times that we're seeing now, how things are getting a bit harder, that's kind of the veil being pulled back. As far as, like, the comfort. Pre-COVID and stuff, you know, even after COVID, like, until now that the inflation is getting really bad, and, you know, the bullets are starting to fly. You know, I mean, you really could just get by just being a fucking lazy fuck. I remember living through that time. Like, so many people just bumming, you know, like, I mean, like, time just seemed like, you know, just go on forever, and, like, you could just sit around if you want. That was completely normal. You know, that was completely normal just to sit around and, like, just, you know, just, oh, I can just play video games because the next day, you already know that the next day you're going to wake up, the sun's going to be shining, you're going to be fine. That's not the case anymore. That's not the case. People are going fucking bankrupt. You know, one fucking car repair, one bad car repair could put you back on your ass, flat. One health problem. People aren't, like, more inclined to take care of other people anymore. Bumming is becoming less and less easy because people are looking out for themselves. All that food shit, all the food prices, the housing prices going up. It's harder and harder to be a fucking couch surfer. You know? There was a time where you could be a couch surfer. There was a time where you could just get by, kind of just bumming around, and, like, I remember, like, even I did it, you know, for short periods. I remember dudes that did that for years. You know, people living with their parents, people, like, kind of, like, just bumming, living with roommates, family members. It's not as accessible anymore. People are starting to look out for themselves, and they don't give a shit if you need a roof or not. Yeah, certain situations may be different, but things are changing. Things are currently changing. You need to be prepared. You need to start saving some money. You gotta get strong. You have to mentally become strong for when this shit fucking dissolves. Think about the Industrial Revolution. Think about fucking medieval times. Think about how people lived throughout history, how hard their fucking life was. I know so many people that are so fucking lazy, and they're just living in a fucking dream, you know, on their phone all day in comfort, laying in their bed. They can't. Could you fucking handle working 12 hours a day in a factory, or fucking swinging a scythe, cutting up wheat all day? You know, fucking barely having anything, just barely scraping. These people don't know discomfort. They've only grown up with comfort. They've only grown up. People have always taken care of them their whole life. There's always been food. There's always been entertainment. There's always been a fucking place to rest their head. What happens when you fucking go homeless and you start starving to death? You know? What happens when fucking all of our fucking infrastructure collapse? What if there's a fucking economic collapse and you're fucking starving to... Dude, there's been times in history, entire countries starving, famines, disease, millions of people fucking dying, you know? You don't want to be one of those unlucky souls. where you get woken up from the comfort and you get put into a dark fucking world that is unforgiving, that doesn't give a shit about you. Like, I can say this right now myself. After all the tough mental endurance, the work, the training, fucking the sleepless nights, it does help. It does help when shit gets rough because you have that resilience to bounce back. Now, knock on wood, trust me, I don't want to be in that position either, you know? But I will say one thing. If I ever got to that point, I would have the mental willpower. I would remember all the hard work that I put in. Like, I'm not gonna fucking be homeless, you know? I'm not gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna, if I became homeless, I'd fucking start working to not be homeless, you know? If I didn't have food, I'd fucking start working to go get food. It's as simple as that. But you don't want to be that unlucky guy that's fucking Uber Eats every day, pizzas every day. Dude, I know so many like morbidly obese people that never leave the house. What the fuck happens to them when Domino's stops fucking operating or some bullshit? You know what I mean? Like there's fucking like an invasion going on, bro. Like what the fuck do they do? This is a rare time in history. It is the exception, not the norm. Face yourself and ask yourself, if it came down to pure survival, do you have the guts and the grits to give up all of these comforts? You must learn to live without these comforts and become strong and flexible. What happens to things that don't bend? They break. If you don't become flexible and start changing mindset, you're going to break. It's like a tree. The tree that's used to the wind becomes flexible. It bounces back. The tree that's not in the wind fucking snaps. You must learn to live without these comforts. The strong will thrive and the weak will not thrive. They'll be pushed to the side. When the bullets start flying, only strength and grit will be respected. It is time to kill the boy inside and become the man. Alright, peace out, guys.